So I want to just take this time, first of all, to give God thanks. I was talking to God earlier this week or last week, was in the past week. I want to say God is awesome. And I want to tell y'all what God told me clearly, okay? God said, I'm healing you. I'm taking away the pain and the sting from all that you had gone through. He told me that in reference to a particular situation that had kept haunting me. He told me that directly. And I guarantee, as sure as God is alive, as sure as you are breathing right now listening to this message, I had no more hurt from that situation. No more hurt. No more. I can recognize the situation happened without hurting about it. I can recognize that situation happened without wanting to take revenge. God said to me that he is taking away the sting from what I've been through. Hi, everyone. I hope all is well with you. So I want you to be empowered, and that's nothing new to you all, those who continue to listen to me. That's nothing new to all of you. I want you to know you got power, and it's time for you to hone it. Now, if you call yourself being of the fold of God, you have to know you cannot dance with the devil. All right. I'm telling you this because while I love to give you everything that can keep you empowered, I want you to keep that principle in mind. You cannot dance with the devil and then expect the blessings of God to flow to you. Okay. I say this because you got people, they're full of toxic energy. They're full of negativity. And I know these same people, they listen to what we listen to, speak life, speak well over yourself. However, if you use that principle wrong, you're going to look funny. When you do wrong to people and you go, God bless you. You see how that would feel if somebody did you wrong, but God bless you. When you think about it, that's a crooked energy. Okay. That's a weird energy to experience. And only a toxic person would do that. Only a toxic person would do something intentional. Okay. Something intentional to harm you, to hurt you, to break your spirit. And they know they're wrong. They know they betrayed you, but God bless you. That's somebody that carries a toxic energy. And so the way you deal with that first, it's about yourself. You got to understand sometimes when people do things to you, it's not about you at all. It's not about you being wrong. It's not about you being right. When people do things to you that you don't deserve or you didn't see coming, it's about that person. It's about what's in that person. And you got to get to a point that when a person challenges you for who you are or what they see in you, that it will not change how you feel about yourself. It's not going to make you go, oh, well, I must be this type of person because this person's acting that. That is how I used to think. That is how I used to think. I used to think when people would treat me mean, I would be the one that's always at fault. And then I had to get out of that. I had to step away and recognize that I'm human just like the next person. And it don't mean that I don't make mistakes, but what it do mean, I need to catch a break like everybody else catching a break. And if they're not catching a break, I need to take care of what I can deal with, and that's me. And when I say I'm not saying it in pride. I'm saying it in confidence. This is who I have to check on. I have to make sure I'm right. I'm putting the responsibility on me to do my healing, because if you don't, If you don't look in and do your healing, you're going to be hurting someone else. If you don't take the time to recognize, look, I'm valuable. I'm not in competition with anybody. I'm just doing me. When you can get to a point where you don't have to call yourself putting others down to feel good, because sometimes people do that and they do it so much that it's natural to them. Some people, they do it so much, they don't see a problem with it. And they're used to doing that. And I don't surround myself with people like that. I have family members like that. And when I realize that they're okay with not respecting how I feel, then I'm like this. I cannot have a conversation with you. I cannot talk to you. I cannot come and spend time with you. I am pretty much done with you at this moment. And look, I'm not done with you in the terms of hate. I'm done with you because I cannot stand the energy you give off. I cannot stand your arrogance and thinking that what you say to me is okay. And you have to be like that with everybody, okay? Don't let your perception of what a Christian should be without thinking that through. Okay? And when I say that, I want y'all to go back to the concept of forgiveness. Forgiveness do not mean when somebody disrespects you, you keep putting yourself in a position for them to do it. Forgiveness is, I wish you well, but I know how you are, and I'm going to let you be how you are, but this does not work for me. You did what you did. You're not sorry for it, and I'm not looking for an apology, but I'm going to move on wholeheartedly with my life. Yeah, what you did hurt, but I'm not going to be stuck on you. I'm just going to move forward and let you do what you normally do. And I'll pray for your heart in the process. That's forgiveness. That's forgiveness. And it's not always easy. It's not. Because some people, when they do what they do it with intent to kill you. They do it with intent to kill you spiritually. Some, they might wear you down so it's on a physical level. And if you ain't careful, some might try to come at you a little harder. But when you recognize these things, use the wisdom that God has gave you to protect yourself. Keep yourself away from that negative energy. Keep yourself away from somebody that is pulling you from your purpose. Right now, when I tell y'all how I feel so powerful. And when I say I feel so powerful, I'm not talking about like controlling people. I'm talking about deciding who is in my space because they bring to me what I need. I don't need negative energy around me. And I will not sit with somebody on my own talking about I'm going to have lunch with this person and they got so much chaos around them. You have to love yourself so much that you're not going to settle for anything. And look, we also got to stop being partial about some people. I don't care who they are. Okay? It could be the president. It can be whatever YouTuber, whatever vlogger. It could be a pastor, prophet, apostle, preacher, man in the church. I am not partial. People are people. Don't let titles influence how you treat people. When somebody do well by you, do well by them. But if somebody gonna treat you like a peasant, you let them know I'm not the footstool. You got it twisted. And like I said, I'm not partial to anybody. Okay? I'm not partial. I love being around great people, but ain't nobody too great that they're going to treat me like a dog and I'm going to sit there and take it. And that's the problem with some of us. Some of us been wounded by things like that. And then instead of getting that healing, instead of taking that time to step away from whatever it is and heal, you're reenacting that trauma on someone else. Or sometimes you let somebody else reenact their trauma on you. I want y'all to know you can stop that. You can be full of life, health, wealth, and prosperity in your spirit. And I'm not saying that can't happen in the physical either. It can happen in the physical. But you got to get yourself to a place where on the inside, nobody can say anything to change how you feel about yourself. Now, you gotta honestly assess yourself. You gotta honestly think about what you put out to people. Think about what your motives are and be honest. One way to be honest is when you do something to somebody that's hurtful, that's devastating. Would you want somebody doing that to you? Is it a legitimate reason? Are you a man or woman of understanding in what you do? Is there a good purpose behind what you put out? Or if you had to go about doing something unpleasant to somebody, is it legitimate? Is it fair? Is it in right understanding? You need to think about it, because when we talk about vibes and all this other stuff, it also goes around the principle, or should I say it coincides with the principle of whatever you sow, you will reap. Now that's biblical. And when we talk about vibes, you all listen, don't get spooky or spiritual with me, okay? Because vibes are facts. Vibes are a part of quantum physics. When we talk about demonology and evil spirits and things like that, we encounter those interactions, or we have encountered those interactions through the field of quantum physics. That's that level, or what we cannot see. That's what some people call supernatural. That's how come we can feel certain things. We can feel energy, but we don't see what we feel. We can feel some energy, but we cannot see that energy that we feel. And so that's what vibes and quantum physics deals with. It's on that level. It's on that level of where we talking about demonic attacks and things like that, fighting against evil. That's a part of what some people believe is supernatural, or in the area of what is called the supernatural. Now, to me, when I say supernatural, my terminology is different. But when a lot of people refer to supernatural, they're thinking about the spiritual realm, and they call it the supernatural. But there's only one supernatural for me. Okay? There's only one supernatural. There's one that's super, and he's the one that created us in the natural. Okay? But I wanted to explain these terms because I know I'm dealing with people of different religious backgrounds and understandings. And I just don't want people to be stuck in a mode of religion that they cannot learn and understand that some of the stuff that you hear when you're talking about attraction and things like that, that deals with vibes. And I'm not trying to be a witch doctor or a spiritual guru. No, I'm just a minister keeping it real. Okay? Just keeping it real. The fact of the matter is there is a such thing as quantum physics, and within that realm we deal with energy. And if you're not careful, and if you keep dealing with negative energy, or if you keep entertaining it, that's how some people attract these demonic spirits, because they're full of negativity. They're full of negativity, and those demonic spirits, they want to get a play out of it. They want to play with you. And when you're not living according to God, then that's what happens. They play or whatever, and they bring you farther from God, and you don't want that. So you want to get to a space of where you're so comfortable with yourself in your spirit. You're comfortable with loving yourself. You're comfortable with respecting yourself. You're not going to let people treat you any type of way. It don't mean every time somebody says something to you, you got to argue with them. No. But you can also show a person how to treat you. You can show a person what you will and will not tolerate. The main key or the easiest thing to do at times to show people how to treat you without arguing with them is to give them your absence. When a person really wants your presence, they're going to make you feel welcome. But when a person really don't appreciate your presence, they want to make you feel bad. They want to make you feel like you're not anything. They want to make you feel like there's something always wrong with you. They want to make you feel like you always got to work on yourself. That is what a person will do that is not comfortable with themselves. And that's why you have to be comfortable with yourself enough to be like, look, I don't need advice from anybody that's going to make me feel less than what God has designed me to be. That's the point that you have to get to. You have to understand that God has put you here for a reason and a purpose. And the enemy, he uses whoever he can to try to get in your way. But God has also given us power, so we don't have to worry about trying to be somebody that we're not. Because when you're in God, you already are who you're supposed to be. You may not be functioning in your purpose, but when you're in God and you're learning your purpose and you're getting closer to your purpose and then you're working in your purpose, you are who you are. And when you start winning, don't take your wins for granted and don't let anybody feel like you don't deserve it. You deserve it because God put you there. That's why you're winning. Don't let anybody make you feel bad or make you feel like you're less significant. Don't let anybody try to make you guilt trip that you don't deserve anything that God has allowed you to acquire in your life. Don't ever. Some people can't stand it, and it's okay because it's not for them to stand. It's for you. And those blessings that God puts out for you is really to add to your credibility. When people find out that you are this type of man and you this type of woman and you accomplish this, people recognize accomplishments. People look at stuff like that because it's something that they need from knowing that you is this type of man. You're this type of woman. That's why you have to check your vibes. That's why you got to make sure you're vibing. Now, I don't want it to sound redundant, so I want you to listen to this, okay? When I tell you to check your vibes, how are you thinking? How are you looking at life right now? Do you feel like you have nothing to live for? Or do you feel like there's so much more that you can accomplish? Do you feel like there's so much more you want to do? If you feel like there's so much more you want to do, there's things you want to try, there's things you want to see happen in your life, you're in a good place. That's a positive vibe. But if you're at a place and look, you worrying about this other person, you trying to figure out how you gonna cause chaos in somebody's life, and it may not sound just the way it sounds when I'm speaking it, but when you determine in your heart, oh, I'm gonna start spreading stuff. I'm gonna put stuff in people's ears about this person to make everybody turn on this person. Oh, I'm gonna put this person on blast. Somebody that didn't do anything to you, and you know it. You got to check your heart. You got to check your heart. And you got to go after God and find the purpose that he has for your life, because that's how you're going to truly be happy with yourself. When you find out what it is that you're supposed to do and you become good at it. When you become good at it, it may take a while for you to even recognize that you became good at it. I tell you that because that's what happened with me. You know, when I started out as a teacher, I didn't think I was that much of a good teacher. And I was looking at all the other teachers that been more experienced, seemed like they ain't had any problems in their classroom. Then over time, I had to learn, I had to build my skills. I had to build my classroom management. And it was a painful process. But then I came to a point or where I started to recognize, okay, This is how teachers become a better teacher. They learn from trial and error and they figure it out. And then you start working on your purpose. What's your why? What's your why to why you're in this earth? What it is that you can do to help someone become a better version of themselves. Even more in Christ. What it is. How can you do this? So you have to find your purpose, because when you're operating in your purpose, that's that thing that's going to drive you to want to do more. You're going to want to see different things. You want to see beautiful things happen. And you know what's very rewarding? The biggest reward you can get from operating in your purpose is when you find out that people's lives are actually being changed because you are in your purpose. You're that person that they needed to hear. You're that voice that's in the earth that made a difference in somebody's life. You're that voice in the earth that helped somebody that thought about throwing in the towel say, I want to just do this for another day. You're that voice in the earth that somebody was listening to that said, you know what? There's more to me. You're that voice in the earth that somebody said, you know what? I got to keep doing this thing called life. Be that voice to somebody in your purpose, whatever it is. Your purpose may not be like mine, being a teacher, being a minister, or whatever. Your purpose could probably be working at a hair salon if you love doing hair. Some people, sports. When you talk to people who are interested in sports and they want to know how you became so good at what you do, and you tell them, well, I place my faith in God. I believe in God, and I work on what I do. And here's my story. You could be in any industry and make your impact because there's somebody there that wants to hear from you. It may not seem like it now because you might be new to it. I don't care if you're working at a grocery store, and you all, please don't take for granted those that work in a grocery store. The pandemic should have taught us something about people who work in a grocery store, people working in fast food. They are valuable too, because when you can't cook or you can't get to certain things, or you need help getting a meal in before you go to work, it's the same people that some of us look down on that make our day. Even if all there is doing is giving us a meal. But you can make a difference on that job too, because you work with other people. You work with a team to help do whatever it is you have to do for that day. And it's somebody that's looking at you. And you got to realize it's somebody looking at you. I don't care how insignificant you think you are. Somebody's looking at you and thinking you're significant in some way. But what it boils down to is what's coming out your mouth too. Is positive things coming out your mouth? If things that carry wisdom, the weight of knowledge, or is it things that carries the weight of foolishness? Are there things that carry the weight of things that are worthless? Things that's not going to help anybody? Are you feeding people garbage? Or are you feeding people whole food? What is coming out of you? How are you vibing?